this all-important process of acquiring land in a safe and legal manner in this country. It ought to be possible. God knows we've written enough laws to make it happen, right? So Timothy and Pearl, before we took those messages from our partners, I was asking you why all the money, people are being forced to pay per signature in some cases.
In fact, when I heard the word forced, I find it very. Yesterday I listened to your program, and there was a caller from Takrady,
yes,
who made a certain assertion. I found it surprising because the fees that we charge are approved by Parliament. I was a customer service manager for 3 years in Greater Accra. What people do is that the Ghanaian is not honest enough to, one, report a staff if he feels the staff is falling out of line, and also where they rely on third parties who are not our staff, who make claims that people demand money. I used to sign searches, and I met a friend who worked at the Bank who said, "Oh, you are making good money." I said, "What are you talking about?" So every time we come there, we are told that the person who signs take X amount. I said, "That's not true. I sign a whole heap of searches all day." So it's partially when people don't report, they don't speak to people about problems. Once you start doing that, people sit up and don't deal with third parties who make claims that people need money from you to process your document when that may not be the case.
Right. Although, let's be fair.
Yes.
The duty and responsibility of ensuring that you don't have guru boys is on the institution, not on the public.
Yes. So the transformation that we've gone through has taken us somewhere. Maybe we are not 100% there, but there's a transformation that has happened. Yesterday, I heard Lawyer Kwame Jan speak about Client Service and Access Unit, which was inserted in the Lands Commission Act in 2008. Section
Why hasn't
25.
it been implemented?
It has been implemented.
Oh, really?
It has been implemented in 5 regions before the 6 regions were created. So we have 11 or so regions now that has the Client Service and Access Unit. What he spoke out yesterday about was the manner in which he proposed it to be.
Right.
But it is implemented. So in Greater Accra, in all the 6 new regions in Greater Accra, Eastern, Upper East, we have Client Service and Access Unit where you have a front desk where you have to submit your documents. Once you submit your documents, you have cut away from dealing with the back, except there are challenges. For instance, there's some inconsistency with your document. That's only when you have to deal with the back office. So
which means it will be the back office that contacts you.
Yes, it will be the back.
You don't contact the back office.
No. The back office contacts you.
So if you end up being charged for a signature, then it is the back office that contacted you to charge you for the signature.
So the back office would contact you, and if there were additional fees, so what we do is our fees are consolidated and now are all paid up front. So you pay, if you know how we used to do our system before 2015, you used to pay in bits and pieces. And in reaction to this complaint, we decided that let's consolidate all your fees up front. So you pay all your official fees up front. If there were additional fees that you have to pay in the process, you are given a bill. You pay it's a receipted bill. It is not bill money that you are paying that you can't account for. And yesterday he indicated, Kwame Jan even indicated that the Ghanaian is a very interesting person. He foists on you money, and then later he says, "Oh, they demanded money from me," because sometimes he cannot trust the system. And as I said yesterday, there was an officer who came to complain to me. A man insisting that, "Oh, do a search for me." He said, "No, we don't do searches online. Can you just go and pay online and get it done?" And the man keeps insisting, and you're saying, "Look, boss, he's insisting, and yet if I took this money, he will call Joy FM tomorrow and tell you that, oh, I took money from him."
So he shouldn't.
So he shouldn't. So she didn't take it. He went, he paid this money, and he went. And that is what we have instilled in the staff now, to take the first step, prevent the person from attempting to corrupt you or believing that if he pays you money, you can do that. And the Takrady instance, for instance, I wish I could call in and said, the regional lands officer, there are officers responsible there. Can't you just walk to an officer and say, I have had this experience with X officer. The whole of last week, our appointment disciplinary committee was meeting a set of staff where we had received complaints where they were going through a disciplinary process. And so Lands Commission has taken steps to deal with and swiftly with anybody who is known to be involved in any form of corruption. And our ministry takes this view strongly and as advised. So we are taking steps to deal with that.
Timothy, so if I pay online,
Yes.
How long would it take me to have a response from you?
A search, 14 days.
14 days.
For 68 point something % at our last check. Yes,
Right.
of the
That's
search.
the service level at
Yes,
the
service
moment.
level, yes.
Up to
All right.
14 days.
Yes,
But
up
you
to
see, this is the other point. So you've made your point.
Yes.
But I'm sure if we're to activate the phone lines today,
Yes.
there are people, and people have called in and have said,
Yes.
I paid for a search. It's taking forever.
Yes.
And then they are advised to come to the office and do a few things. Are you saying that this never happens?
So the search has delayed. We just launched what we call the clients information complaints and advisory services. This was done in response to what you are saying now. People sometimes don't have a forum where they can complain about the quality of the service that we give. We recognize that. So from October 25th to 27th, we trained officers across board countrywide where you can launch a complaint online on our online services.lc.gov.gh. You can also call in, you can also come to our offices and complain about a service. Say, for instance, I submitted it in 14 days, I've not got a response, what do I do? Then the commission can respond to that complaint, take your complaint and respond in record time to that. So we have responded to, as we go along. It's a public service agency and it's learning from its experiences what to do better. And with things like this, we believe that we'll be pushing the standards higher. Yes.
Pearl Roxon and Timothy Anyido, who are our guests from the Lands Commission. Yes, we're saving Pearl's voice. When we come back, we're going to learn a lot about the processes.
Yes.
Okay, how should it work from step one to the final moment when you have completed your processes, you've registered your land or you've bought your land? What are the specific steps that you must go through? What are the steps you must not go through? What are the things you shouldn't do? Also, we'll try and figure out how the Lands Commission intends to actually permanently solve the problems of corruption and inaccurate information and all of that. Because you see, we have established that the customer wants a service and is willing to do anything for that service. The problem at the Lands Commission is not with those who want to follow the regulations, it's those who don't. It's those who want to do the wrong thing. How do we stop them? Today we're talking to the Lands Commission, Timothy Anyido, who is their acting regional lands officer, and Pearl Roxon is a senior land administration officer. They are here for you. All right. So if you have questions, if you have issues, you have problems, and you want solutions, then stand by, because we'll give you the opportunity to call in and speak directly to them. Of course, you can start now by tweeting at us, or well, now they say it's called X, so posting on X. Use the hashtag JoySMS so that we'll see what you're talking about, and we will certainly put your questions to them. You can do the same on our Facebook Live. You can put your questions underneath that particular broadcast right now, and we will do our best to get you answers. All right. So let's get back to it. Timothy and Pearl, I think maybe we should start off by walking through the process, right? So I want to buy land. Someone has pointed out some Asasibi at Chado or wherever, and I want to find out if this land belongs to this person and that I can safely purchase it. So I come to Lands Commission. Then what?
Okay, so prior to purchasing any land or entering into any transaction on land, we need to first do what we call due diligence. You need to be sure that the person claiming to be the owner is actually the legally recognized owner. There are two things we need to satisfy. First, you need to conduct a search at the Lands Commission. So in some instances, the purported grantor would say he has a site plan, but we always advise that
purported grantor, the person,
so the person
wanting
claiming
to sell,
claiming to own the land and wanting to sell to you, would maybe provide you with a site plan. But we always advise that you get your own surveyor to survey the land and prepare a site plan for you, because what we've noticed is that sometimes the land that you are shown varies from the site plan you are given by the grantor. So once your site plan is prepared, You submit this for a search to be conducted. And as we mentioned earlier, now you don't even need to bring it to the Lands Commission. You can submit it online at onlineservices.lc.gov.gh and your search will be conducted.
Online service?
onlineservices.lc.gov.gh.
Okay.
Anywhere you are, you can submit the scanned copy of the plan. The search will be conducted for you. Now, once you have your results, you need to also do due diligence on the ground, because there are certain disputes that may not show on paper but may be on the ground. So the Lands Commission and the world at large would only have notice of a person's interest in land if they come to register. So if someone has maybe previously bought that parcel but has not registered it, the Lands Commission will not have notice of it. So it may not be reflected in our reports. So you have to do due diligence on the ground. Speak to the neighbors, speak to people around to know whether there's been any previous owner or there's someone who owns the land. Maybe the person is not around. So once you satisfy all these and you check all these boxes, you are sure that Mr. A, who is claiming to own the land, is actually the owner of the land. Then now you engage the services of a professional to prepare, to go through the documents that your grantor will give you, because most of the time the land documents would come from the person granting it to you. But you also need to get your lawyer or your surveyor to go through and ensure that all the terms and the covenants in there also have your interest at heart, because we've had instances where the person felt he was getting a 75-year lease only to be granted a 5-year lease.
70
because he wasn't a professional and he didn't take time to read the fine print, he got duped. So we advise that get professionals to go with you through the process to ensure that your document, when it's completed, checks all the legal boxes that it must meets all the requirements to be a validly executed document. Now, once your indenture, as we call it, has been legally executed, all the parties have signed, you need to have the oath of proof certified at the court. So that's the first thing we do. We send it to the courts. We send it to the High Court to have the oath of proof certified. Then now you bring it to the Lands Commission to have what we call the stamp duty, which is a tax you pay on a transaction on land.
Every transaction
on land.
Good.
So you pay your stamp duty. Once you pay your stamp duty, now your document is ready to be accepted for registration. So your document first has to have a barcoded plan by the surveyor. The oath of proof has to be certified, and then the stamp duty done. Once your document meets all these requirements, you submit it at the CSAU, the Client Service and Access Unit of the Lands Commission, for registration. At that point, that's where the back office now takes over. So they would also carry out the various searches to ensure that the person claiming to sell to you is actually the owner per our records. We go through the necessary checkers verification. When everything is fine, we prepare what we call the title plans, which we are legally required to do. So once the title plans are prepared, we would publish this and your intention and our intention to register that parcel in your name for all who have an objection to bring it up. After the statutory period, if there is no objection, we would continue with your registration.
And what's that period that you talk about? That statutory period, how long is it?
14 days.
14 days, okay.
So once that period elapses and there are no objections, we continue. We prepare your certificate for you. It's plotted in our records so that any subsequent search will reveal your interest. Then you are contacted to come and pick up your certificate from the Client Service Access Unit. So basically, that's the process for registration.
In theory, this could all happen in the space of a month, couldn't it?
It does happen in some instances. So, it comes down to what you did before you submitted your documents to us. So if you carried out your searches, your documents meet the standards, there will be no queries and it will be a seamless process. But where you don't carry out your due diligence, then we check our records, then there's a judgment, then there's an adverse claim. Then now we need to go through dispute resolution processes to see who even owns the land, what we can do. So all these things draw the process back, and that is why sometimes some of these processes keep long, because the things that were supposed to be done were not done. Now, sometimes a document is submitted and then you realize that somewhere in the document that the term is not specified, signatures that are not consistent. So when it happens that way, we can't continue.
Right.
Yes. So once your document is well executed and you carry out all your searches and everything is on point, it's a very seamless process that doesn't take long.
How accurate is the data you carry on your lands registry?
Accurate to the extent that we have, and I want to explain. We've kept records in the Lands Commission since the 1800s, all the way through the 1900s and to the 2000s. Surveying and the way documents were prepared have changed over the years. We are now more accurate in terms of how we survey parcels of land. So we have instances where people have registrations in the 60s, for instance, but they do current site plans and they are inconsistent with where the land is supposed to be. And these are the processes that our new digitization processes are trying to resolve, so that you can come to a place where we are sure that where we are, the land hasn't moved, but the way in which the survey was carried out in the past may have placed it at a place different from where it is now. And that's where it leads to some variance in the records that we have.
And talking about your new digitization process, so you started some more than 10 years ago.
Yes.
What happened to it? How come you didn't complete it?
We are in the process, so it's not that it's not completed. For instance, the 6 new regions that were created, recently created, we moved them all on a digital platform. We didn't carry manual records into that environment. We tried to go straight away into a digital environment. In the regions where we did manual work, what we have tried to do is, as you're saying, it's a process of converting data that is manual into a digital process, and it's quite a tedious, painstaking process.
Timothy, you got funding for that?
Oh, well, under the Land Administration Project, and that's where I think we got funding for critical things. The Land Act that we are all speaking about now, the Lands Commission Act, some resources, but it didn't complete the process.
But you did get money specifically to digitize your...
And that took us to a level of the digitization. Things have worked pretty fast in the last 5 years. And we didn't take the money again since 2017. We stopped. We didn't take for Lab 3. So whatever the Lab 1, 2 could take us to, we took it. That's why...
You didn't use your IGF or anything to complete
we don't have it. So if you've heard recently...
Wait!
If
all the stamp duty and...
The stamp duty is going to GRA. It is GRA money. The other monies that you think Lands Commission is taking is going to consolidated fund that we all benefit from.
And
do you benefit from it if you can't digitize your document?
The whole country benefits, so our salaries come from it. It's government money that goes to GOG. So we take
your
some
internally generated funds.
Yes,
are not used
are
by
not sufficient for what we want to do in terms of digitization. So if you've heard the recent conversation, it's about getting private-public partnership to able to accelerate this kind of digitization process, and the ministry has discussed extensively with a private partner, and we expect that to come.
And that private partner,
yes,
what would the private partner get or do in return?
So it's a funding model where the Lands Commission is going to be given the resources that it requires to accelerate its digitization and other forms of development. Now, when that happens, all Lands Commission is going to do is have a funding model where we are going to pay back. So it's just like you are giving us money to do what is most essential.
How are you going to pay back?
Oh yes, through our services that we are going to render. The Ministry of Finance would then allow some monies to be taken towards the payment of
Would that private person take a part of your function?
No.
In order to recoup that money?
And that was clear. The president said it is not possible because Lands Commission is a constitutional body in the constitution, and therefore it cannot cede its function. The ministry is clear on that in its contracting, that is only pumping money into its services.
Has the Lands Commission signed a deal with Property Database?
So that is the private partner that we believe the ministry is having some discussions with on.
So this private company will give you funding?
Yes, would assist in but will not take over our function.
Yeah, but they will have access to your registry and the information in there.
Well, they would assist us in our functions. That's what the MOU says, but will not take over our function of the registry. That any time that a private party has assisted us over the years, even with our foreign partners under lap 1, lap 2, they've not taken over our function. What they've done is
how will
helped
they
us
assist you in your function?
So, for instance,
which functions are they going to be assisting
so
you
for
in?
instance, let me set an example. For instance, surveying. For instance, we need to have the whole country flown. What we fly the whole country to be able to prepare digital maps, for instance, and to make it easier and cheaper for surveying. If they will finance that flying countrywide for us and then make it easier for the surveyors to get the data, that's an assistance, isn't it? So that's what we are looking at, that kind of
So
support.
because you're a constitutional body,
Yes.
there is an article of the Constitution that
Yes.
mandates your existence,
Yes.
Article 258.
Yes.
I want to read from it. It says, there shall be established a lands commission,
Yes.
which shall,
Yes.
in coordination with the relevant public agencies
Yes.
and governmental bodies,
Yes.
perform the following functions. And then it lists all your functions. All right, managing public lands and any lands vested in the president by the constitution or by any other law.
Yes.
Advise government, local authorities and traditional authorities on the policy framework, blah blah blah. Advise on, assist in it. So everything in here, including this conveyancing and flying, it's all under your mandate, which you are to do according to the Constitution.
Yes.
With the relevant public agencies
Yes.
and governmental bodies.
Yes.
But you are now going into a deal with a private company
To us.
that will have access
So,
to sensitive information like lands registry data.
yes. And it's happened over so even in the 90s under the economic recovery programs, we've always had donor supports. In fact, in the lap 1, lap 2 that you speak about, we have had assistance from even foreign governments. For what are they doing?
Can we draw the distinction between a private company
Yes.
and
So-
donor support?
Yes, so,
because it's not the same.
So
is it?
we are looking at. I'm trying to draw an analogy of the support that the institution requires to be able to get itself going quicker. So our understanding is that you are pumping money. The mandate says the same. You read some functions. There's none of those functions that are being ceded to that private company. For instance, they are not coming to manage.
But it says
state
in
land.
partnership with public agencies.
Yes,
and governmental-
to undertake these functions.
So
Undertake these
Yeah, but
functions.
so the question is,
Yes.
you are
Yes.
mandated by law
Yes.
to, in partnership,
Yes.
as you choose,
Yes.
public agencies,
Yes.
government institutions.
Yes.
These are the partnerships you can go into.
Exactly.
So why are you going into a partnership with a private entity?
So those partnerships are for our functions, which we are still undertaking exactly.
But you say they would assist you.
Yes, so they would assist us in financing,
And then
they are not
assist you
going to.
in your function.
No, we are not. They are not assisting us in our functions. Winston, that's what I said. I said they are supporting us in being able
They
to
are not
carry on.
assisting, they are supporting.
Yes, no, but they are not taking over our function. If you read the Constitution properly, so we are still working with the MMDAs. We are still working with our LUSPA. We are still working with for Ministry for Policy. Those functions are not what we are ceding to any private entity. That should be made clear. What we are doing is getting some capital injection to be able to do undertake a process, and this is going through all the scrutinies that it is PPP project. We've gone through Ministry of Finance. We've gone through every form of body that must look at this contract has looked at it, and I believe that it will be in the best interest of this country.
I asked earlier how accurate the data is
Yes.
in your registry, and you said as accurate as
Yes,
possible. Not so long ago, a search of your registry would come with a disclaimer that if I incur any losses because of information that I've got from your registry, it's on me.
Yes,
Do you still issue that
but you said
disclaimer?
not long ago.
So I want to know the latest. Does that disclaimer still come?
No, but
with
under the Act 1036, we looked at this and so thought that it was wrong. So it is no more a case. It was something that used to happen in the past. And this morning I heard you speak about it before I came. It used to be.
because that one was
But it is not. And that is the transformative part of the transformative process that we have continued to go through. Land administration in Ghana continues to learn and improve. And I just said it to myself, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we've seen a lot of steps being taken in response to every time we hear concern, there are steps being taken to respond to that.
We're hearing from Timothy Anyidohu and Pearl Roxon. They're from the Lands Commission, and they are helping us understand the processes, answering our questions. In fact, very soon they'll be answering your questions when we open the phone lines. In just a few minutes, we'll be doing that. Tell us about the relationship between the Lands Commission and the ministry. Of course, you come under a ministry,
Yes.
so that's just the nature of these things. But there are lots of concerns that perhaps, in spite of what Article 257, I believe, says about how the Lands Commission should be independent, be able to operate without undue influence from anybody, are you able to do that?
I believe so. I trust so, and I know so. Because the ministry's directive is purely one of policy. The ministry is directing us on policy, and I believe in recent times you had directives from the ministry when national issues come, and that's it, and that's what it has stayed. I know there have been some concerns for some quarters, and I can glean from where you are going to. We've had papers from Occupy Ghana, and the people who have shown concern about what kind of influence the ministry may be having. But we are an agency, like Minerals Commission is an agency, like Forestry Commission is an agency, and we are all under the ministry for policy directive. And I believe that's what we are.
So you are saying that there is no undue influence?
No, I can say that firmly and strongly.
I was checking.
Yes.
I realized that so many of the main players at the Lands Commission are in an acting capacity. You are acting regional lands officer. You've been acting for how long?
2 years.
2 years. And it seems to be the case for almost every other compatriot of yours.
Yes.
Almost all of them.
Yes.
You're all acting.
Yes.
You haven't been confirmed.
Yes.
Is that not an avenue for influence?
Well, our confirmation is an action of the board. Now, Lands Commission has been trying to go through a process of going on full-scale public services. So we say we are establishing, the establishment order is being changed. We started off as regional lands officers. Now it will be regional directors. At director levels, you have to go for interviews at Public Service Commission. So it is that process of change. Maybe we've come at a time where we are in a transition. So once that is done, we believe that what has to be done by Public Service Commission will be done, and then we'll have the liberty to do that.
All right.
No, I mean, not in relation to this. So you just finished, and
Right. Okay. Because I'm still very interested in the relationship between
The
the ministry
yes,
and
yes.
because every now and then we
You hear something.
Yes, and people are a bit concerned. I don't want to get into the politics of it. That's not our focus for today. But I think it's important for an institution like yours. The Constitution, the framers foresaw the need for you to be able to operate without any undue influence. Be honest and fair in this. Maybe not speaking for yourself, but if there was anyone else in your position after 2 years, your job security is still shaky, and the person who can make it happen comes to you and asks you to do something, I mean, honestly, how will you say no?
Let me borrow Mama V's honesty this morning.
Please borrow.
No, and say it's a human establishment. I understand, but as I said, all of us who are acting now understand that the establishment is, and that we are going on an establishment transformation. Maybe in a year's time, 2, 3, maybe when Pearl is sitting in this seat or some others are promoted to we will not be in this transitional stage, and therefore confirmations will be done quicker and easier. But I believe that we've all accepted that it's the stage in which we are in our establishment being put together.
You guys have been transitioning for some time.
Yes,
2008 is when you were supposed to bring all of these disparate groups together. What's it called? I think you had valuation.
The land sector agencies.
Very good. All of these were supposed to come together. Registration, valuation, surveying, right?
which we have done.
Really? So the
Yes,
valuation
so
people are not still at
yes,
one
so that
place?
is why now we
Registration
have
people
this,
are not still at
no,
one place?
So that's why there's the co-location. So if you would remember, a few years back, land registration was at the ministries.
Yes.
Survey was at the survey school. If you come there today, we are all co-located at the cantonment premises where the Greater Accra. So now we have a Greater Accra regional office where there's the registration, there's the land valuation, there's the PVLMD, there's the survey division to ensure that we meet that objectives and clients don't need to run around all over the place to access the services. And also based on that consolidation, that's how come we have the CSAU. So that now, because it's one body under the Lands Commission Act, one CSAU to cater for all the services. So now we don't have various land sector agencies. We have one Lands Commission with divisions that render the various services.
When did this convergence happen?
Oh, it's been
2008.
2008.
Since 2008?
Yes, and the CSAU
Interesting.
established 2015 and have continued since then.
Okay, so the old location, there's nobody there? Okay.
You've not visited us in a while. Please
Now,
do.
another thing that was supposed to happen after 2008 was you were supposed to set up district offices.
Yes.
So that if I'm buying land in Kaswa, I don't have to travel to Cape Coast
Yeah.
to go and see the land registry.
You don't.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Talk me through it. Do you have district offices?
We have some. Yesterday again, I heard Kwame Jan speak passionately about district offices, and we agree. So we have some. We have in Takwa, we have in Tema, we have in Winneba. So he made a valid point
Not
yesterday.
Kaswa.
Not Kaswa, but we have in Winneba. We have in Winneba. So once you are going, you don't have to go all the way to Cape Coast. But the whole idea is where there are densities for registration, because some areas don't make economic impression. And we are, as you're saying, we are establishing. We now have even model designs for district offices that we believe we soon would have pretty much more in the regions. And I want to say one of the things that I think has helped us is, for instance, the creation of the new regions. For instance, for Lands Commission, for instance, we are in all 16 regions. Those 6 regions took us closer. For instance, Volta region, now we are in OT, we are closer. Western went to Western North. The Northern was divided into 3. So it has helped us move closer to those areas, and then the district officers would assist us.
So Timothy, this payment with property database, I'm just curious, just interested in one thing. So if that partnership happens, how do you pay?
We have a financing model advised from the Ministry of Finance.
What's entailed in that model?
Oh well, I do. Maybe I'm not the best financial person, but all I know is that they will be taking some out of our service delivery. There will be some monies devoted over a number of years.
Additional charges?
Towards not additional charges. Our fees and charges are done by Parliament. So we are under the parliamentary fee fixing.
Will there be the need to review it?
No, for what we know now, there will be no need. The model is being done based on our current fee charges, because Parliament has been very sensitive about Lands Commission increasing its fee charges. In fact, we have even proposed special services like premium services, but the Parliament shut it down and said, look, work on your efficiency first before you go into a premium service where you may
if you're going to be paying over a period of time,
yes,
why can't Lands Commission get that money, raise that money, and pay over a period of time instead of going to a private person?
It is about raising that money now, and this has not been now. When we cut, so we looked at how the land administration project phase 1, 2 had helped us. Let's be honest. When development partners assist you in doing something, they may focus your model. So in 2017 thereabout, the vice president looked and advised, look, if you really want to change something, be in control of your system and then be able to change what you have to. So we've looked financing in many places. People have come giving us proposals. I think we are at a place where we believe that this may be the best model to assist us being able to go about it. And I think we should try it. 50, the initial contract is 52 million thereabouts.
So
dollars?
Dollars, yes.
$52 million.
Yes.
How did you choose property database?
Well, this has gone through all the procurement process. I'm not the details of the choice, but I'm sure it's something that went through a full bid process. You know, if it's PPP, then you go under the PPP law. You go to the ministry. You go to Ministry of Finance. You even need to have, I think, cabinet's approval because of the way. That's why I said I've heard strongly where the president has said, "Look, you're a constitutional body. Don't touch your functions, please." And that may have delayed even the process.
And how long has property database been doing this work?
I'm sure but I believe they looked at their capacity. Whoever made the choices looked at their capacity and then thought they were the best available in terms of. I'm sure there were other people also who made bids for this choice. So we believe that they are the best available.
Now they are called property database.
Data bank.
Is it data bank?
Yes.
Property data bank.
Yes,
oh, interesting. So is there any point at which they will interface with the public?
No. Not in the model that we have. They may not have to interface with the public. It's Lands Commission's function, isn't it? We collect the documents. We process the documents, isn't it? They would help us with the capacity building in terms of that. Yes.
All right. Listen, we're talking to our guests Timothy Anyidoho and Pearl Roxon from the Lands Commission. It's your turn. It's your turn to come in with your questions and your issues so that we can get an understanding of how the Lands Commission works and how we can all legally take advantage of their services without any wahala or headaches. All right, John is on the line from Accra. Hi, John. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
Thank you for calling us, John.
Thank you very much.
Okay, fire away.
I called yesterday and I spoke on the issue of an indenture which is older than the site plan for almost about 10 years. I wanted to add something to what I said yesterday. My document go to Lands Commission. When it goes to a place where they're supposed to do the announcement, the publication, I was told my document is missing. I waited for a while. I was called again that my document had been found. When I went for my document,
John, can you move away from the radio a little bit?
Okay,
a little bit of feedback there.
Unfortunately for them, they've registered the land for someone, and that person's indenture and site plan happened to be in my document. It was at that point that I realized the indenture was older than the site plan for about 10 solid years. How on earth can this be done to a Ghanaian when you've invested your money into a property? I love Ghana, and I believe they can do better to save all Ghanaians. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. We'll get you some answers to that if we can. Ni is in Botiano. Ni, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Ni, how are you?
Fine.
What's your question?
My question is, why is it that when there is injunction on Land Commission not to process any land to anybody or somewhere Arrowtech, and then they bypass and do it? We had injunction on Arrowtech from 2016 not to allow them to register any document or backdate any document. They are doing it, and we have found a lot at police stations. When we get there, the document they will bring it is processed 2023. While the injunction is on them to the determination of the state. The Land Commission is bypassing doing it.
Thank you.
My question.
Thank you, Ni. Did you say Arrowtech?
Arrowtech.
Okay, we'll get you answers to that one. Arrowtech. Why are Arrowtech documents still being processed by the Lands Commission, even in 2023, in spite of an injunction? All right, George is in Sunyani. Hi, George. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's on your mind?
My problem is we have a family property, and we have discovered that some of our uncles has put their money, their mother's name on that property. So we did the check, and we found out that the name that belongs to that property is their mother's name, which is supposed to be the whole family property. So when we did the check, we found out that it's their mother's name on it. So what can we do to avert this one to make it like a family property, not their mother's property, even though they are part of the family?
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, George. Let's go to Cape Coast. Hi, Johnny. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Kojo.
Oh, Uncle Johnny. Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Everybody in Cape Coast.
Kojo, I have a piece of land and I wanted to give to my kids. But they said we should sell it. I said we should sell part of it. So the original indenture was given to a surveyor who did a site plan on part of the part that I wanted to sell, leaving a part. Now he tells me that I cannot get. First, he took the original indenture and did the survey with the part that has to be sold. Has made the indenture. I asked whether I could get a copy of the new indenture. He said no. The old indenture that I gave him said I can't have it back. I'm a bit confused, and I would like to know whether that is the proper thing to do.
Uncle Johnny, to clarify, you're saying that the surveyor says you can't get your old indenture back?
That's right.
Right. Okay. Okay, we'll get you an answer to that. Thank you for calling us, Uncle Johnny. Eugene is in Kokomlemle. Hi, Eugene. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your question?
Yeah, so I have a cousin who is into real estate. So he's registering a land in Koforidua. So he has started the process and he's almost at the end of the registration. But apparently, we have been told the wording, how the narration is not accurate. So instead of the company name, his name is supposed to be the first on the document. So the question is, why is that when we started the process, all these things never came out until the end of the process? We have to pay another money so that they change the whole document.
Okay. Why were you not told the proper name to put on the document from the beginning, right? All right. Thank you, Eugene. Hello, Adelaide.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. How's Pokwasi today?
It's fine.
All right. What's your question?
I want to find out, okay, just in case you lose your dad, but before your dad passed, he bought a land, started building on it, and then later on, you just cannot find the document. How do you go about it?
Okay. So your dad bought some land before he passed, and you can't find the documents. What do you do?
Yes, please.
All right, Adelaide. We'll get you an answer to that. I'm sure there are many people with that problem. So I think we've got 6 calls. Let's take maybe 1 or 2 more. Jake. Good morning to you, Jake.
Good morning, Mr. Yankson. Mine is a quick one, too.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to find out why you don't display the process of documentation. Maybe from right start, you go to room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are done with the process, but everything is hidden. So in so doing, there are interference of humans, because you don't know where your process is today. You have to be paying somebody to be chasing up, calling the person. Okay, where is the document gotten to? What is that? What is this? What is that? Can't we have it plain display somewhere, so that from here you can go here, you can go here, and therefore these human interruptions will be just avoided. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Thanks for that. I think Jake will be our last caller for now, because we've got quite a lot to get on with these 7 calls so far. So thanks to all of you, John, Nee, George, Johnny, Eugene, Adelaide, and Jake. Let's see if we can't go through them one by one. John had the question about the indenture, which is 10 years older than the site plan. He gave the narration of how that came to be.
And yesterday I listened in the program, Lawyer Kwame Jan tried to explain it, that site plan may not be what originally the person has submitted, because the indenture should have come with a site plan. So because we try to digitize our plans, and in her narration of presentation said a digitized barcoded plan, so that plan may be the current plan that supported the document. And just to advise people, the disappointment of trying to register and finding out that somebody has registered that same parcel of land makes people want to blame Lands Commission for what they should have done earlier. For instance, as she said, if you've not come to us to register, we don't know. 80% of the land is private land. So if you even register in the process, we find out that somebody else has registered. We have processes where we inspect, try to inquire, investigate title. That's what we are trying to do. And if we can establish that there was some fraud, some inconsistency, we also have a way of dealing with it. So he should not be so disappointed. The second one is an injunction by Lands Commission. Yes, when people go to court and have disputes and there are challenges in the courts, they need to direct those things to the Lands Commission. People litigate, they keep and this is a well-known matter, and it's been fought in many courts at various levels. One ruling at one level may not necessarily bind Lands Commission if there's a higher decision by a higher court somewhere along the line. So they should just submit to us what the decision of the court is. Maybe it's not been submitted to Lands Commission. I know this case very well. It's being fought at various levels in the court. We are just waiting whatever the final decision of the court on the stay is. He may be talking about one part of the litigation. He may not be talking about some other part, because for a time we're not processing. Then we got also another order from a higher court. So please, if there's anything you can give to the Lands Commission, we are ready to assist you. Sunyani,
what you're saying is that in terms of Arotech, as far as Lands Commission is concerned,
at the moment,
currently
we are processing. Yes. So if there's anything, because mind you, we'll be purging ourselves if we are doing something that the court has ordered an injunction.
So you don't believe there is an injunction?
No. We've not got notice of that. If we have it, otherwise we'll be guilty of going against the court. The Sunyani property is in the mother's name. It's in the auntie's name, and they want the family name to be on it. They can give Lands Commission a notice of it, because it was registered in the name of the mother. And sometimes people go and litigate, and then have a higher authority to be able to do the amendment. I think the Cape Coast, your own uncle Johnny, and then Pearl will take the rest of the questions. He's talking about an original indenture. Please, he should go for his indenture. If he gives somebody a document, it's only in land transactions that I find out that people become disarmed. You have given somebody something, return my thing to me, and the person is telling you that he can't return it. I don't think we don't need that original indenture. It's a private you gave it to somebody, your surveyor, just go for it. He's signing half to his kids. His job would have been to do the site plan and then hand it over to him, and then get him to do his registration. So please,
what he's being told by his surveyor that
it's not the case. It's not the case. Nobody is collecting his own indenture. So Pearl will take the rest, I think. Eugene from Kokolumne.
So Eugene mentioned his documents being processed at Koforidua. So generally in the registration process, what we do is that there's a checklist at the CSAU for the officers to check the documents against. Once it meets the checklist, it goes to the back office. It goes to other officers who would vet and approve on the application based on another checklist. So you realize that the document goes through various stages of checking to ensure that it meets the statutory requirements. There may be one or two issues that the registrar may raise when the document goes for signing eventually. Maybe that's where Eugene finds himself. So almost all the issues would come up even before it gets to the registrar for signing. But for one reason or another, there may be certain peculiarities that the registrar may draw attention to when it gets to signing, and that may be the reason why. But generally, all the issues, in fact, now with the CSAU, most of the documents will even be rejected at that point if it doesn't meet the requirements, so that it doesn't come to add up to the backlog.
I mean, this is the name. The name that should be on it. That should be his name and not
the
company's name.
He's trying to explain something, but I'm sure if we went into the details, you'll find out that it's because it's not the name that's on a document. You have entered the transaction. There may be something to
some reason why
there's
a need for that change. Okay.
Yes, and then
Adelaide, I think.
Adelaide from Pokwase also mentioned her late father's document not being found. Now, there are two ways to go about that. She could, if they have a site plan, conduct a search at the Lands Commission. If it was registered, they can apply for a certified true copy of the document. On the other hand, if the search is conducted and it was not registered, then she could come by way of a statutory declaration, given the fact that they've built on it, they've lived on it, because the law makes provision for those whose documents are not complete and yet they have possession of the land and they can prove legally that yes. So there's also another way around it, just in case the search is conducted and is not in the records of the Lands Commission. She can come by way of the statutory declaration and the necessary help will be given. And then Jake talking about the progress of the process. So yes, there are various ways that you would know what the process is and where your document has gone to. So when you come to the client service and access units, we've boldly displayed every stage of the process that your registration is going to, your documents will go through. When you go to the client service, the client's information and advisory unit 2, you would find our processes listed there. When you go on our website, the registration process is clear there. And then also when you go onto our portal and you create an account with the Lands Commission, you can actually put in your job number and track the progress of your application that is with us. So there are various means that we can do that, just to inform the public.
They're very important.
The tracking.
It's something you really need to put out for the public to be aware that that option
is available.
Yes.
Yes.
Save so many phone calls and trips
Yes.
to the offices, right? So again, if you go to your portal,
yes. So when you go on
register.
our portal, yes. So you create an account.
Okay.
Now, when you create an account, that's the account that you would use to conduct searches and all those other services. Now, with that account, you put in your job number. So when you submit an application, you are given a unique job number.
Right.
You put in that job number, and then the system will let you know where your application has got to. If there's a query, you would find out. If there's no query and it's still in the process, you would find out. So once you do that, you'll be able to track exactly where your application is and what needs to be done.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I've got to say that was a very quick but comprehensive run through all of the questions, and thank you so much for making the time to help our audience with their numerous issues. We have to do this again. We have to make it a periodic thing so that people can get educated on what should be done. We appreciate your time with us very much. Timothy Anyido, who is the acting Regional Lands Officer for Greater Accra. He's been here this morning with Pearl Roxon, who is a Senior Land Administration Officer, not acting. Not acting.
And just a small bit before we end, my attention has been drawn to Section 7 of the Lands Commission Act that gives Lands Commission some leeway to deal with property data bank.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll read up on that.
Dr. Yeboah, who just sent me the message.
We'll read up on that. Of course, we do understand that the Constitution is paramount.
It's paramount,
please. All right, thank you so much, Timothy and Pearl.
Yeah, but Timothy and Pearl, before you go, maybe there's any contacts you want to put out there for people to
the website is our biggest the onlineservices.com and onlineservices.lc.gov.gh. That's our portal for our services, and you can get our social media. Now we are also even on, not on X yet, but on,
you're not on X
on Facebook and the rest. We are trying to reach out like public services are doing now, and I'm sure every time we come here we've done something better. So I'm sure the next time we see Winston will have a happier face.
Maybe you can get the assistance of portal data,
property
data bank to go on social media.
Yes, we'll do.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you both so much
really
for your time with us. All right.